Welcome to the Leadership Art Podcast. I'm your host, Art Robbins, and it's great to have you join us. The Leadership Art Podcast features conversations with industry leaders who lead with purpose. Here you will discover practical insights, powerful lessons, and everyday inspiration to elevate your own impact, whether you are leading now or preparing to step up. We want to inspire you to be the best leader you can be. And today, we want to talk about leadership and experience, because many people think leadership comes with experience. Not necessarily true. And today's guest challenges that idea. So it's my pleasure to welcome Kiara Hastings, a senior at Chapman University's Argyros College of Business and Economics. Kiara is pursuing her BBA with an emphasis in real estate and a minor in law and liberal arts, and she's already having an impact well beyond the classroom. As a project manager at Leatherby Center for Entrepreneurship and Business Ethics, Kiara leads a team of student interns and works across alumni partners and sponsors to bring entrepreneurial ideas to life from their concept to their execution. And she's also deeply involved across campus activities in the Entrepreneur Organization, the Pre-Law Society, and serving as marketing director of the Chapman Real Estate Association. Kiara is not waiting to graduate to lead. She's already doing it. And she has ambitions in entrepreneurship and venture capital and a clear passion for helping others turn their ideas into reality. Kiara represents a new generation of leaders, people who move early, think big, and create opportunities for others. Kiara, welcome to Leadership Art.
Thank you, Art. Thank you so much for having me. You're flattering me with that introduction.
Okay, you're going to have to live up to it in this episode.
Yeah.
The pressure is on, but truly you have a great story and a great journey, and we want to explore your passion for entrepreneurship and what's inspired you to take so many leadership positions at such an early age, frankly. And like I said, even before you graduated. But one of the things I really like to cover in the episodes is to learn about the guest's journey, because that's really what shaped where you are, what your mission is today, and what your values are.
Yeah.
And I have to tell the audience I had a preview to Kiara's journey, and it's fascinating. And I'd love for you to share that with us a little bit.
Of course, yeah. I do feel like our journeys are really important in shaping us and our decisions. And I think that when you see somebody in a position of leadership, and mine isn't even like the biggest position of leadership, I'm still growing, but
Sure.
You see like the tip of the iceberg. I always think of that analogy, but you don't see what's underneath and the path that person took to get to where they are and the build up toward that. So my path has definitely been nonlinear. I grew up everywhere, like 4 different countries. I lived in Australia, Bahamas, Mexico.
Are you originally from Australia?
I am,
Yeah.
So my
Okay.
mom is Australian. Yeah, so that was definitely a fun experience, but a lot of moving, like constant change was the constant in my upbringing.
How many different places did you live when you were growing up?
I think it's at 31 houses, not
Oh my
countries.
goodness.
4. So yeah, you would think that I'm part of a military family or something.
It sounds that way.
Yeah. But what it brought on me was just this exciting, you never know what's next. So you have to make the most of the present moment. And I was always thrown into things before I felt ready. I remember in 3rd grade, we moved to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Super random place. But I walked into the classroom and I was late. I didn't know where the class was. I didn't know anyone at the school. And it was like midway through the year. And I just walked in. And when they, in the movies, and they make you introduce yourself, where you're from, in front of the class.
That really happened.
Yeah, that really happened. But it was just like sudden. I just had to roll in and be ready. Okay, here's who I am, and just know who I am. In 3rd grade, right? So just walking into rooms and having confidence in you and your journey from an early age is something that I.
And that could be really traumatic for young kids, even just moving to the next neighborhood and changing schools.
Yeah,
could be traumatic. And but you did that so much it became part of your DNA.
I was well versed in change, I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just made the most of it. Like, I'm a chronic doer. I always have been. That's what my parents always said. I'm scrappy. I just get things done. I'm super productive. So that's definitely my style. So yeah, I started working at 11 or 12. I was nannying, started like advertising myself in the neighborhood, started like a little business there. And then at 15, I was waitressing and I was running like weddings and large corporate events, and I got a taste for thinking on the dime and like trying to build a flow and an organized system from that. And then at 16, I started a business, and it was a clothing hire company, so it was in fashion. Co-founded it in Australia because we identified like a gap in the market for nice, high quality like dresses and clothing for events.
Now, what gave you the inspiration to actually start a business? Because a lot of people would do that as a hobby or a side gig.
Yeah.
But what made you think of actually creating a business out of that at such an early age?
I think it just came from what I was passionate about. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, it's just like natural. It arises naturally. You're like, okay, why doesn't this exist? Okay, I'm going to make it exist. I'm going to fill that gap. And so that's what we did. And that kind of gave me my first taste of entrepreneurship, which I loved. And then I continued with that fashion trajectory. And I always say that's like my creative outlet is fashion. I have my business and then my creative. And I think everybody has those two things, but I think both are very important.
And fashion has played a big part in your creative side, right?
Yeah,
you've done some pretty amazing things in the fashion world.
I have. I've worked on some cool modeling projects. Freshman year, I was invited to New York Fashion Week. So I got to walk the runways of that. I remember,
that's amazing.
That's
a lifetime experience.
Yes, it definitely was. I told my calculus professor, this was like the first or second week of freshman year. And it was like a couple weeks in. I was like, can I take the test early, like a week early? Because I'm going to New York for Fashion Week. And I know she told me, she was like, I've heard a lot of excuses, but I have not heard that one.
You haven't heard that one.
But I don't
it's like, can you give me a note from your agent?
Yeah, I never want to make it an excuse real. Still, I'm getting things done. I'm getting things done early. And I've always tried to stay on top of things in that way and not let any balls drop. So.
How much does that influence your confidence and just your ability to deal with high pressure situations? And I ask that because one of my daughters went to a modeling school and she never got into modeling or anything like that, but I could tell from her real life work experiences, she had this level of confidence and communication skills from having gone through that experience that really gave her a set of tools, like more on the soft skills side, to do very well in business and dealing with clients and high pressure situations and multitasking situations.
Yeah, and I think especially now when we're all addicted to our screens, like soft skills are even more important and they can really set you apart. So I think being plunged into something like that when I was 18, 19, it's like you don't necessarily know what you're doing and you're definitely out of your comfort zone, but you just have to have confidence and trust that you're there for a reason and that you have value to bring and learn to communicate that. So I think that's something really valuable that I learned, and that in itself is a form of leadership.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there, you went to Chapman? Are you still at Chapman?
Yeah, so that was when I was starting at Chapman. I started here at the Entrepreneurship Center.
And just so the audience knows, you might recognize the background in the orange trees. We are broadcasting from the Leatherby Center here at Chapman University in beautiful city of Orange and beautiful Orange County. It's a great facility, and you guys have done a great job with this, and we want to talk more about it.
Thank you, yeah.
But tell us what attracted you to Chapman and how you got involved with the Entrepreneur Center here.
Yeah, I toured Chapman coming from Australia, and I was deciding whether I wanted to stay in Australia and go to university in Sydney or come to the US, and that was definitely like the larger step out of my comfort zone coming here, but I'm really glad I made the decision, and I got involved here at the center just before the summer before my freshman year. I got the position, so I knew I had this coming in, but I never would have guessed the amount of opportunity and involvement and impact that I I would be grateful to make here. And I've really grown with the position. I started off as just learning the ropes. I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, but I knew the mission of the center to create this entrepreneurial ecosystem within Chapman and then the broader community as well. And that really is the essence of what we do here. And I've grown with the role and stepped into the shoes of the team manager, and I've found so much purpose here, and we really have so much to offer at the center, like mentor programs, events, pitch competitions, all of the above. So it's really great.
No, that's great. It's impressive that you've gotten the role as a team manager and help propel the center and its mission. I'm a big fan of the center. I'm involved in mentoring here. And we had Cynthia as a guest in one of our early episodes. And I've always been impressed with the community mission of the center because I've worked with other universities, both here in SoCal and other locations. And very often the universities tend to focus on the university themselves. They don't look outward. If you're not involved in the university in some form, you're out of scope. And that's not the case here at Chapman. It seems to be extremely community focused, and it welcomes people to come in and expand the influence of the Chapman community.
Exactly, and I think that's an important distinction. We're open to everybody and all, and we are Orange County's Inclusive Innovation Hub.
Okay, so that's part of your brand, being inclusive.
So the California Office of the Small Business Advocate gives us a grant to allow us to open our doors to everybody. So that's been instrumental. And Cynthia played a large part in obtaining that grant. Yes.
Oh, that's great. And I think later today, you actually have a very unique event going on here.
We do.
You want to mention that? Because I think it highlights some of the innovative thinking that's going on here.
Yes, I'd love to. Yeah. Close to my heart because I grew up watching Shark Tank. So it was a full circle moment when the supervising casting producer of Shark Tank, who's cast the season since 2002, wrote me an email, just found me and Mario and asked, can we host a casting call? Can you help us find talent for the show for ABC's Shark Tank?
Okay, she's looking for contestants.
Yeah, so she's recognized that we are a hub for up-and-coming, next-gen entrepreneurial talent. And that really is, our mission is right there. That is a signal that we are doing what we set out to do. And that is so rewarding. Like 3 years into my journey here, that was just really a rewarding moment. These past couple months, I've been planning and executing the marketing for Shark Tank, and today's the big day. Okay,
so today's the casting call.
It is, yeah.
How many companies do you think will advance? Hard to say.
Hard to say. I will tell you we have 73 set to pitch today. So
73.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
And how many are directly involved with Chapman, and how many are in the outside community, roughly?
I'd say like maybe 60% Chapman, 40% community.
That's a great mix.
Yeah, so it's a mix, but it'll be exciting to see who advances and hopefully makes it to the show.
Okay. You expect Mark to make a surprise guest appearance here? Or?
I can't be sure, but he'll definitely have the final sign-off.
No, that's great. I'm curious because you talk so much about entrepreneurship and leadership, and it's very clear you're passionate about it.
Yes.
And you've seen a lot of different examples of it with companies coming through here, trying to figure out how do they define their company, how do they get initial funding, how do they scale?
Yeah.
I'm wondering what patterns you've seen that have made the biggest impression on you, and like what are some of the key success factors or essential success factors that early stage companies should have, and what are some of the common pitfalls that they're going to experience that they should be aware of?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that ties into leadership as well, because as a founder, you have to be a natural born leader, or at least have this almost delusional faith in yourself and your idea, because people will tell you that it's not going to work, it's not feasible, okay, how is this going to happen? And you just have to have that overwhelming belief in your idea and your mission. And I think that's a key quality, is just being determined and not letting go. So when we look at pitches, And we look for those qualities in the founder, and everything else comes after. Like all the business stuff that can be molded, shifted, we can adjust those things and improve on them. But if you don't have that initial belief in yourself, then it's hard to advance and do well.
It's interesting you say that, and I have to divulge something that's going to come up in a future episode, so I might be stealing the thunder from a future guest.
A little foreshadowing.
So forgive me, but what you said is very
okay.
relevant. So I was speaking with a guest. We're preparing for a recording, and she's an entrepreneur, and she's involved with actually creating a network of entrepreneurs.
Amazing, yeah.
So I just innocently asked her, I said, if someone is considering entrepreneurship, what should they think about? And she said to me, if they're considering it, they shouldn't do it. And I went like that. I said, what do you mean they shouldn't do it? And she said, if they're considering it, they're not going to be successful. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it should be self-evident. You shouldn't have to go through an analysis with like pros and cons and start to weigh factors. It's like it should be unquestionable that you want to be an entrepreneur.
That is so true. That belief in yourself should be innate. It shouldn't be a question of,
should be innate,
should I do this? It's, I am doing this because I need to do it, and I see no other way to do it.
So you would agree with her?
I would
think
agree.
she's
I would
spot
agree
on.
with that. Yeah, I really do. That's a great way to put it, though.
I thought it was very insightful, and I never looked at it that way, because I know people, and I've even had guests on before, that have gone through analyses and personal journeys and extended self-reflections, and they've come up with an answer, say, yeah, I want to do this. And some of these people are very talented and very successful. You would expect them to be successful, but it wasn't self-evident.
That's interesting. I guess everybody has their way to get to where they want to be, but
that's a great point. What are some of the other key success factors you've seen?
That's a good question. I would say, determination, tenacity, visionary. Like a lot of founders are just like visionaries, and if you don't have that like vision of where you want to be in 5 years, what you want to accomplish with your business, then it's hard to build on the everyday things, because every little thing you do is working towards that mission. And that's like with my team, like our mission is very clear. It's to help and support that next generation of entrepreneurs. And I make sure to connect that overarching mission to everything that we do, like every little task, every little analytics, every little like promotion, outreach, events thing, like it all ties in. And I think that really helps if you're able to get out of bed every day with not just, okay, what are the little things I'm going to do? It's like, why am I doing those things? What is this leading me to accomplish? And I think that's what motivates me as a leader. And that's what I see in a lot of founders as well who are successful.
Yeah. As you're defining your own leadership style, and you have so many examples to tap, what do you feel has made you successful in addition to some of the things you just described?
Yeah, in addition to determination, being a visionary, being scrappy, being willing to step in. Like I will step in on any task that needs to be done and just get it done. So that's something that I would emphasize. And I think walking into things fully prepared is always good, but also being willing to like think on your feet and get things done. And I think experience in events has taught me that for sure, because things don't always go as planned. Like they
never go as planned.
No, like as a project manager, we have this like events pipeline, and it has 150 tasks. And you think you have timelines for everything's going to go as planned, but you can do the most amount of behind the scenes work, and still when you get to the day of the event, like the catering doesn't show up, or this person's not here when they need to be, and it's just, there's always challenges, but in the end it all comes together.
Yeah, you can't say at the end of the day, that wasn't in my job description.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
You have to get it done. You have to pull the event off.
Exactly.
I remember in one of my prior lives, I was running a big consulting organization, and we actually had an events division, which I was responsible for also. Oh, wow. And I was a step removed. We had people on the ground that were totally focused on the event, and they were amazing. It was a world-class team. And I would go to the events, to mingle with the clients and stuff like that. And at the end of the event, I would always go up to the team, and not only would I thank them, but I would ask them, okay, so tell me what went wrong. The event looked flawless.
Yeah.
It looked like a finished Oscar-winning movie, right? But I would always ask them, so tell me what went wrong. And something always went wrong. In fact, more than one thing usually went wrong. But no one knew because they were on top of it. Whatever the situation was, whether they caught it in advance or they caught it after the fact, they jumped on it, they dealt with it, they neutralized it, and they pulled off a great event. And, and everyone had a great experience. It was problem solving.
The audience has no idea.
Tenacity. The audience had no idea.
Yeah.
But they had the tenacity that you described to say, our mission is to have a great event and a great experience for our attendees, our employees, our sponsors, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
Exactly. I think it's important to be all on the same page as a team, and as long as that vision is clear, then everybody will execute accordingly. But we do, after our events, we always debrief in the Monday morning conference room. Just, even if everything appeared to go perfectly, there's always things to improve on, and I think that continuous improvement is what allows us to iterate on our ideas and make things better as we go.
Now, what do you think some of the pitfalls are of leadership that you've seen that people need to be aware of as they're going through this journey?
We already mentioned one, which would be thinking that you're above doing a certain task.
Right,
Oh, that's not for me to do. That's for my interns. If you can't do it yourself as a leader, then you shouldn't be assigning it to somebody else, because they're going to come to you with questions. How do you want this done? And if you're like, oh, just figure it out, that's not a great way to lead. And yeah, everyone has their own style. I would say mine is, I definitely to empower my team and give them recognition, like you mentioned, make them feel like they're really making a difference with every little thing that they're doing. And that's really what motivates me. I can give a little anecdote.
Please do.
Yeah. So when I was 7, I was in North Carolina, Raleigh, with my mom, and there was this like community passion project, and it was a chalkboard that anyone could write on, anyone walking by. It was in like a high volume area, and it was just like a fill in the blank. I want blank. And so that prompted a lot of things for passerby. I saw so many things. I saw, I want a yacht, I want a raise, I want a vacation, I want to be rich, whatever it was. But I ignored all that. 7-year-old me, I don't know. I walked up and I wrote, I want to make a difference. And
That's impressive at 7.
I didn't know how I was going to do that at the time. I had no idea what that meant, but I just knew that's what was going to motivate me, and that's what I felt. That's what prompted me to pick up the chalk and write that.
How do you know you're making a difference now?
It's the little things. It's when somebody comes to you and thank you so much. Like that thing you said, that advice you gave me, and that conversation we had that I might not even remember. Like it might have been something small to me, but it made a big difference to them. And I had somebody, actually one of my team members came up to me the other day and she was like, I just want to say, Kiara, I really look up to you. Like I want to learn from you more. If there's anything that I can improve on, please let me know. And it's like, little things like that where you know that at least you've had an impact on that person.
What you're describing is actually the mark of a great leader, because a great leader takes great pleasure in the little things. I've learned this over time, and I wish I learned it sooner, actually. Especially when you work for big organizations, they have all these big goals, right? Oh, you got to win this multi-million-dollar contract, grow the business at least 25, 30% a year, all these lofty goals. And you're so focused on that sometimes you don't realize on a day-to-day basis, the impact you're having. But it's like the little things that you're doing are having the biggest impact, and they're the most memorable. And I've told stories, I've told this before, I'll say it again. I connected with an ex-employee some number of years after we both left this firm. And I would do monthly all-hands meetings when I would tell everyone what was going on with the business, good or bad. We try to get people excited. We were moving towards a goal. What do we have to do to hit the goal? If we were experiencing a challenge, be transparent, tell them what's going on, what are we going to do to overcome the challenge, all that stuff. And this person came up to me and said, I can't tell you how much those all-hands meetings meant to me. And you had such an impression on me from the all-hands meetings. And I said to him, what did I say that made you feel so good? And he said, I don't remember a thing you said. Oh. But I do remember how you made me feel.
Okay.
And whatever was going on, you made me feel like you were being honest with us and you valued us and we had a role in whatever the situation was, good or bad. And I always felt better when I left the meeting than when I walked in.
Oh.
And I had no idea I was doing that.
See, you don't know until they say it.
You don't know.
But every little thing you do, you're inspiring that feeling.
Yeah. And a leader has to be okay with that. A leader has to be okay. You can't be looking for reassurance and affirmation all the time. Yeah. That's not what's important. The important thing is you know what needs to be done. You do the right thing. Like you say, you're involved and you inspire people to be their best, and you bring out, and what you do brings out the best in them, which is ultimately going to enhance the impact.
I agree.
Of whatever you're aiming to do.
I think that's important, and that's like something that distinguishes leaders is why they're doing it, if they're doing it for the impact or they're doing it for the accolades, and those are two very different things.
Yes.
But yeah, I definitely. And
you can tell, staff can tell if the leader is out for themselves. They're looking at, okay, this position is a stepping stone to the next position. Or is the leader really committed to doing the right thing at the moment? And the accolades will follow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you're about to graduate.
I am,
right? Yeah. So with all these experiences and insights, how are you planning to take your impact to the next level?
Yeah, that's a great question. I want to challenge myself, and a natural progression from where I am now on the side of just building up founders and helping startups. I want to get into more of the finance side of things, so the venture capital side, and I really want to be an ethical business leader. My goal is to inspire other women to do the same.
You're here.
And to break into industries that might have some barriers to entry and just are challenging to break into, but I really want to use my experience and my confidence to make some strides there and continue to help entrepreneurs.
Okay, so you're going to stay focused with entrepreneurs. You see them as an audience that you want to continue to service.
Yeah, because they are the future, and I'm so passionate about helping empower entrepreneurs to realize their ideas.
You think you might do some entrepreneurship yourself?
I might dabble in some entrepreneurship. Yeah, I could see that in the future.
If you get involved in VC, those opportunities will probably present themselves to you.
Yes, they already have, which is great.
So let me ask you this. You're doing great. You've made an impact in a number of different ways. And it's rare that I have a Gen Z guest. It's really an honor to have a Gen Z guest who can inspire other people. And in the past, when we've talked about Gen Z, we've talked about the challenges they're facing, some of the unique challenges, the way the economy is in the job market and technology, and the fear that, this at a macro level, this might actually be the first generation that potentially may not be as well off as the prior generation. I know a lot of Gen Zers are concerned about that. And I'm wondering if you have any insights to the challenges that Gen Z is facing and any thoughts of how they can confront those challenges and overcome those challenges.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's easy to look at everything that's going on with the world and just like technology and the changes there and have this pessimistic frame of mind. Oh, things are hard. And I think a lot of people in my graduating class are in that frame of mind. Just like the job market's the toughest job market of the quarter century, and AI is taking our jobs and all these things. But I would encourage Gen Z to step beyond that and really see the opportunity in the time that we're living in. Because like we have all the tools at our fingertips, right, to pursue what we want to do. And I think things are even more possible for us, because here you have these jobs that like you need to know all these technical things. In the past, you had to walk into the interview knowing all those things.
Right.
But now you can walk in with the attitude, I want to learn those things, and you have the tools to enable you to do that. If you want to write a research paper, write a memo on something, research is just at your fingertips. You can use AI to accomplish those technical things and really get up to speed fast.
Oh, yeah.
But the things that you can't teach are those soft skills that we talked about, EQ. So I think that would be my advice to the generation, is to not get so intimidated by having to know how to do everything, because you can learn that. But you can't really teach those soft skills and that attitude that you walk in with. I can do this. I believe in myself, and here's what I have to offer. And that's really important too, is having confidence in what value you bring to the table.
Yeah, that's a great insight about the soft skills. And I think adding to that challenge is a lot of Gen Zers bury themselves in the screen, and they don't give themselves the opportunity to develop the soft skills. They over-communicate, but they're not communicating like this. They're communicating like this.
Yeah.
And then when you get in the real world, and if you have to go on a job interview, or if you have to present yourself, they don't have the experience or the confidence how to do that. How do they get out of that rut where they just say, hey, forget about this thing. I'm going to go out and meet people. I'm going to work on my soft skills. I'm going to put myself in situations that are going to force me to develop them.
Yeah, there are so many ways. I really just think it starts with stepping out of your comfort zone. Okay, putting your phone down, capping your time there, and stepping out, like going to a networking event that you maybe don't know anyone, but you got this email invite, and you're gonna go like see what's up. Like going to a speaker event, learning from them. There's always insight to be gathered, and I think a lot of the time it's easy, right, to just stay home and do your routine and watch your laptop and
It's
whatever.
safe.
It's safe, it's easy,
Yes.
but like sometimes what's easy isn't always the best thing to do. And if you really challenge yourself to step outside of that, then you might make some connection. You might meet your next co-founder. Like you never know. So that's
You never know.
Yeah.
I think when you described your journey, it was a very social, interpersonal journey.
It was,
And
yeah.
you were really developing the soft skills from a very early age. By the time you got to college, you could say, I have 10, 15 years of experience doing this in one form or another.
Yeah, enter different rooms. Try out new things. That would be my advice.
Okay, that's part of the entrepreneurship. It's very rare for an entrepreneur to be successful the first time. They're constantly experimenting, and if they fail, they don't get discouraged. They say, what did I learn from this? I'm going to start something different. And they try a second thing and then a third thing.
Yeah, I think failure is also very valuable. Like as much as it is hard, you can't get weighed down by it. You just learn from it. And that's value in itself. Okay, what can I do better the next time around, and just improve on that.
Yeah, it's like, I'm a big baseball fan. My friends
Yeah.
know that. And it's batting averages in baseball. If you bat 300 these days, you might win batting championship.
Yeah.
That means you got to hit 3 out of 10 times. You failed 7 times.
Yeah.
But you could still be number one. But you have to be willing to get up at the plate all 10 times in order to get those 3 hits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. We haven't really brought sports into the conversation, but that was also a part of my upbringing.
Oh, okay. So we haven't seen the full picture yet, huh?
No, you've just seen the tip of the iceberg.
Okay. What sports were you passionate about?
I played like probably 10 sports. I did so many different sports,
Oh, my
but
goodness.
some highlights.
And your favorite? Yeah, the highlights.
Yeah, my favorite was volleyball. I played in California. I started on the beach and then did indoor, and then I continued playing in Australia when we moved there, and I eventually was asked to play for the Australia team. But I played for the state and represented them.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
that,
great.
like, loved volleyball because it was a team sport. So if you could play so well, have the best game, but like you had to be in synchronicity with your team, and I loved that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, that really influenced me, I would say.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
So we're going to see you in the Olympics in 28, or?
Who knows what 28 will bring? Who knows? Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground here.
We did.
And we're running out of time.
Oh my God.
And I have to ask two more things. So in all your journeys, all your travels, who would you say your most influential role model has been?
My mom.
Your mom. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's because?
She's so amazing. It all starts with her. She's just like a passionate person. She's a quiet leader, but she's always acts with integrity and does what's right. So she's really inspired me. And she's a writer. She's a travel writer. So hence all the travel, all the experiences.
That's what spawned all the traveling you did.
It did, yes, exactly. And she's a very smart lady, so inspired
That's great.
by her.
Well, I have to tell you, I try to ask that question as much as possible, and I would say that 90% of the answer is always the parent.
Really?
One or both, but the
Not
parent
surprised.
almost always comes up.
Yeah.
So that's great to hear.
Yeah, great question.
So what I label as a successful Leadership Art podcast episode is when we can describe one or two key takeaways that the audience can start to implement immediately to either help define their leadership style or enhance their leadership impact. So of all the things we discussed, Kiara, what would you say are the key takeaways people should come out of this episode with?
Start before you feel ready, especially aimed at my generation who feels like there's so many things stacked against them. Just start, like step out of your comfort zone, and you might not feel 100% ready, but you're never going to feel that way. So just put yourself out there and have confidence in that.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
That's very well said.
And don't forget your vision, what motivates you to get out of bed every day.
Okay. Remember that, audience. That's great advice from someone who's followed it and has had a great impact and is going to continue to have a great impact.
Thank you. You're kind.
So great. I know you have to get ready for the big event because the Sharks are coming later today.
Yeah.
So we should probably sign off. Kiara, thank you again so much for being a guest.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me, Art. It was an honor, truly.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. And also, I want to thank, as always, our listeners and followers for joining us and for your continued support. So until the next episode of the Leadership Art Podcast, this is your host, Art Robbins. And remember, it's your lead.